I'm just wondering whether we are going to think about how these exclusionary kind of strategies are going to impact our future as Pakistanis in this region, where we are now applauding I'm saying this in quotes, the efforts of the current regime, including Imran Khan's regime, to negotiate with the Taliban, whose philosophy is based on the exclusion of all those who do not subscribe to a particular understanding of the tenets of Islam. So when you have young girls killed in a bus in Quetta, because it was meant to have been Hazara girls who are Shia, or you have men taken off buses over the Babusar Pass because they happen to be Shia, or you have Ahmadi graveyards desecrated, including the grave of one of the greatest scientists this country has produced. When you have young girls lynched because they happen to be Christians, when you have a governor of this very populous and prosperous province murdered because he protected a Christian woman, are we not buying into, by presenting this particular aspect of partition, where we see ourselves as victims constantly? And are we not completely negating the ability of a human society to rise above the kinds of strictures that are placed upon that society by the kinds of ideologues who actually never supported the notion of Pakistan? And I'm not going to debate the notion of Pakistan here, but what I'm saying is that there is a reality that we are completely ignoring here.
Thank you.
So the question is that, was this strategy of partition made by a sane person? How can you translocate people and cultures and possessions across borders which are physical without the kind of mayhem and murder that was committed, and then be complacent about it? Are we not doing the same thing in different ways based on the same ideology of exclusion?
I don't know. The lady who spoke last, she's talking about terrorists and Taliban. You did mention them.
I'm talking about the fact that any philosophy which is based on the exclusion of others is going to end up being utilized by terrorists.
Well, you are right. In that way, you are right.
Was it a sensible strategy?
Yeah, of course.
No,
The problem here is, these are what Ms. Gohar asked, the question that she asked. This is actually completely unrelated to the issue of partition. And I say this because having studied partition for over some time now, my understanding of partition is that it is ahistorical. That's what Aisha Jalal says. It is ahistorical to say that Pakistan was created in the name of Islam, or that it was, sort of a strategy that was planned out. It was not.
Thank you for
your...
No,
hang on. The second thing is, it's absolutely ridiculous to continuously just regurgitate the myths that have been in vogue on both sides of the border. The myth that Pakistan was created in the name of Islam, that it is a communal, whatever,
Thank
that
you so
myth
much.
exists on both sides.
I completely
right?
understand what you're saying.
So let's just forget these extremes and listen to what they have to say. Thank you.
We just want a very sane and a united Pakistan.
That's
Could we-
what is not true.
Could we please
Today,
have our
we are
executive
four
director?
nationalities.
Yeah, but we don't have to project our
We have one
nationality.
Pakistan, four
We're,
nationalities,
we're
one
one.
Pakistan, and we all
Unfortunately,
Well, we can't go.
I have come across certain young men and women who think that Qaeda made the mistake of making Pakistan. Now
Thank you,
you
sir.
got to
Thank you.
evaluate this.
Thank you so much. Please note that this floor is for all questions for the panelists and not a debate amongst the audience
I think
itself.
we are
I would
asking
now like to hand
questions to
over
each
the
other.
floor to our executive director, Ms. Swalia Alam Shehzada, who will now be taking questions from here on. Thank you, Swalia.
Thank you, Wes, and what a lovely discussion and what lovely perspectives and narratives have come out of this evening. Before I take any further questions and pass these on to the panelists or other people here, I would just like to add, the lady has left the room, but that was a very interesting question, and that is her perspective on partition. And those are the questions that she has raised in her mind, like the young gentleman at the back, like the lovely lady over here on the stage who simply said that it is up to us, the youngsters, to do what we can and what we want with our homeland. It is for us to prove. So let me just take you back to what oral histories are. Let me just clarify. Oral histories are narratives. They are our own individual perspectives of a moment, of an event, and every individual's experience is different because of their circumstances and their locations and their feeling and their emotions of it. The point is for us to be able to have such spaces where we are able to hear each other's perspectives in a civil, humble, and with an open mind, with a feeling, and we have to be prepared to listen to what other people have to say and what they saw, and not really take them to task on what the then government or the people did or did not do. You know, if I was sitting up there, I don't think I could have answered that question, that why did X happen, or why did, you know, riots only take place in another region. I don't know. But I experienced it, and this is what I saw, and this is what I heard. So the point is to listen to these experiences, to realize the different perspectives, absorb them, and yes, formulate your questions. But it doesn't end there. What we have learned, when I say we, the Citizens Archive of Pakistan, which was formed by a bunch of few people who themselves at the time, I must add, did not understand what oral histories were and what we could possibly do with these. We just went on with this enthusiasm to record the stories of the partition generation. But then we branched out, we realized, oh wow, the minorities have interesting stories too, the civil servants as well, PTV, music, film, industry, and we started listening. But what did we do? Just like you, we heard the stories. We came up with our own debate. We came up with questions. And then we used all those narratives and our collective energies to create a fantastic curriculum which is now being taught in schools and colleges for low-income students across Lahore and Karachi to over 7,000 students. We learned from it.